I really hope that you guys out there in the audience had a great New Year's Eve celebration. I hope you closed out 2022 in a very satisfactory way, whether that be with friends or family or neighbors or by yourself or with your 600 cats that you've been collecting before animal control got there. I hope you had a satisfactory end to your 2022 year. Because here's the thing, not all of us made it through 2022. Some of us got to the very end, but a corrupt, idiotic criminal justice system that favors the criminals rather than innocent people and law enforcement officers ended up ruining it for us. And I hate to break it to you guys, but 2023 is going to be just as depressing on this channel as 2022 was, because today we're going to talk about the story of Isaiah Cordero, a deputy, Riverside County deputy in California, who was killed on December 29th, just 2 days before New Year's Eve, due to the complete unwillingness of the criminal justice system in the state of California to do its damn job. This is not a story of somebody who was arrested and not convicted and let out on bond. This is an insane story that I didn't even think was possible, that was sent to me by my brother and described to me as somebody getting a bail set after they were convicted of a serious felony, and I just didn't believe that was humanly possible. I didn't believe that was a feature of our system, but guess what? The state of California did it, and that's why this person was out and able to kill a sheriff's deputy in Riverside County in California. Now, before we get into the story, before we talk about this, before I start getting really angry, we have a sponsor for today's video, so I'm going to toss it to the sponsor, and we're going to discuss this on the other side. A new survey shows that about half of all Americans have weight loss as their New Year's resolution. Well, considering you're not alone, maybe you should consider doing something that has worked for thousands of people nationwide. And of course, I'm talking about this amazing keto powder over at Keto with Justice. There's a reason why the keto diet has become so popular nationwide. It's because it does work for a lot of people. In fact, my own mother is on the keto diet, and this powder can help prolong a state of ketosis, thus making it so that you don't have to be so rigid in your dietary plans. And luckily for you, for your New Year's resolution, this is available for 51% off at ketowithjustice.com. That's ketowithjustice.com. Let me say it again, ketowithjustice.com.
William Shae is his name, a career criminal, now 44. His arrest record goes back to when he was in his 20s. He was on the street, as best as we could tell, for a very simple reason that even after his conviction, the judge didn't order him into custody, but granted him bail.
Yeah, that's right. William Shae McKay is a career criminal. He's been committing crimes since his 20s. He's been committing serious crimes. This is not a guy who is stealing bread for his family because he's actually Aladdin. This is somebody who commits crimes with weapons, who hurts people, who kidnaps people, and should have never been on the streets in the first place. And of course, that story from that news anchor, even though it sounds preposterous, is exactly what happened. And honestly, if you can believe it, it's worse than that. It's even more ridiculous.
A career criminal. That's how the Riverside County Sheriff describes William Shae. He should have been in prison, the sheriff says, not on the streets to murder his deputy.
We're here to protect people, and who's protecting us?
Talking with Gigi Graciette on Good Day LA, Sheriff Chad Bianco detailed William Shae's criminal history: kidnapping, robbery, assaults with deadly weapons. He should have been behind bars under California's 3 strikes law after a recent conviction, but was granted bail by a judge in Rancho Cucamonga before sentencing.
Now, I know the charges on that graphic don't look that severe. There's only about 4 or 5 of them, and they fit neatly in a graphic, but I can assure you this guy is worse than you think. First of all, he has 42 plus arrests, and there are multiple assaults with deadly weapons, and the key crucial thing that you need to understand is that he was convicted in 2021 of a 3rd strike offense, meaning he should have went away for at least 25 years to life.
If that judge is going to let him out of jail, how many others have been let out? This is not isolated. This is a movement within the justice system that's for some reason we feel sorry for criminals.
Now, not only is this guy's criminal record far more extensive than is displayed in this local news report, it's also far more violent, and it doesn't only include violence against other people, although there are multiple instances of this person committing violence against other people. Among the various charges that he has been convicted of that include kidnapping, robbery, assaults with deadly weapons, he actually also stabbed a California Highway Patrol dog during a previous incident. Now, the specific incident that he was released on was a kidnapping that involved an assault with a deadly weapon. By the way, he killed an officer. He was not supposed to possess a weapon, so that's another felony on top of that. And he should have been sent away because they did do their job. They did try him under a third strike provision for 25 years to life. But for some ungodly reason, between conviction and sentencing back in 2021, the judge decided to not only set a bond, but then lower the bond so he can be out on the streets. And during the course of time that he was out on the streets, which by the way is over a full year when he should have been sentenced to 25 years to life, he was arrested again, brought again before a judge, and then released again without anybody taking note of the fact that this dude should have been starting his 25-year sentence a year prior. I mean, just think about the absurdity of this sentence. The judge lowered his bail. Remember, he was up for a 25 to life sentence that led to his release, then later released him again after he was arrested for failing to show up to his sentencing. His sentencing was for his life sentence. So the judge didn't give him a life sentence, then he was arrested because he was supposed to come back for sentencing, and the judge says, well, you didn't show up for your sentencing, obviously you're up for life, obviously you have a long violent history, I'm gonna release you again and just see what happens, because, you know, we wouldn't want to criminalize poverty, bro.
Bianco didn't name the judge, but Fox 11 reviewed San Bernardino County's publicly available court records, identifying Judge Kara Hudson on the bench since 2007. Her courtroom was closed today. No one from San Bernardino County Courts responded to our request for comment.
Now, good on Fox 11 for figuring out the name of this judge, Judge Hudson. She should be named, she should be shamed, and she should be removed from office. What the hell are you doing if you're a judge and you're letting out a 42 arrest, violent convicted felon on a third strike conviction felony out on a small bond and then not remanding him to custody when he's arrested again?
A statement from the district attorney was critical of the judge. A failure in the process to separate McKay from society and hold him accountable for his crimes has resulted in the tragic loss of a law enforcement deputy.
I mean, honestly, this story is so insane. This story is so ridiculous. This isn't one of those, oh, well, bail, you know, the guy hasn't been convicted yet. Should we really be holding somebody on an expensive bond? He was convicted. I don't understand how you don't hold this guy, of all people, awaiting sentence. You are allowed to do that if you're a judge. This idea that he needed to go home for a year, got rearrested again, and then was let out again doesn't make any sense. It's insane. I know California's like, we gotta reduce our prison population. I know 2021, maybe there were some COVID considerations, but this is not the guy that you let out on the streets, and we see the tragic results. Again, not only did he kill a sheriff's deputy, not only did he murder this good man who had been on the force for a long time, who didn't deserve this fate, but he also led officers on a lengthy police chase that put a bunch of other people in danger. This also ended up resulting in the loss of his own life. So what did Judge Hudson accomplish by not doing her damn job? What did she accomplish by catering to the criminal? What did she accomplish by saying, well, you know what, for no goddamn reason, I'm gonna send you out on the streets if you just pay a little bit of bail. Oh, is that bail too expensive for you? Let me lower that for you so you can get out. You look like a stand-up guy. I mean, you're covered in prison tattoos, violent history, committing crimes with weapons when you're already a felon and you're not allowed to possess a gun. What's a kidnapping and an assault between friends, honestly? What's a 25-year third strike life sentence conviction really mean to me as a judge? You know, normally I'm a little bit hesitant. I'm a little bit weary to say, well, if this person didn't do this or this person would have acted differently, then this person would still be alive. But for sure, 100%, if the judge in this case, Judge Hudson, actually did her damn job, because everybody involved did their jobs, even when this judge slacked off, an officer during the time period between this guy was convicted and let out on bail for some ungodly reason, actually rearrested him, a parole violation, and the judge still let him out on the streets. She still didn't remand him to custody. She was still not concerned about this guy's impact on society. So in reality, if Judge Hudson would have done her damn job, not only would Deputy Cordero be alive, but this monstrous suspect, who by the way is no great loss to our society, McKay, also wouldn't have been killed. They would have been where they belonged. He would have been home with his family, enjoying their New Year's Eve celebration, and this guy would have been in prison, hopefully living an absolutely miserable life in some crappy small cell. But instead, we're left with this scenario.
Bianco didn't name the judge, but Fox 11 reviewed San Bernardino County's publicly available court records, identifying Judge Kara Hudson on the bench since 2007.
Who thought mercy was what was warranted for this guy who had 20 years of offending with violent offenses. The guy even stabbed a damn dog. There's something clearly wrong with them. A police dog, so you know the cops are going to be livid at that. Obviously, no logical sense to this person's behavior. And she's like, you know what? That guy of all people, that person definitely needs a break. And I like the fact that the local news went to the courthouse. I like that they try to reach out for a comment. But of course, the judge is not going to comment. They're going to hide behind the whole, oh, well, you know, these are court decisions. Legalese, nonsense. Please forget about this. Please don't remember this. And definitely don't do an investigation of how many similar cases were handled by this wacko judge in a similar way.
That judge knew what his record was, and he should have been in jail. This Riverside County deputy sheriff should not have been killed.
Tanya Owen knows all about tragic loss. Her LA County deputy husband, Steve, was murdered by a parolee in 2016. Since then, she's been active in efforts that emphasize victims' rights over criminals.
How many times does this have to happen in this country before people realize we need change? How many times does this have to happen before people demand that these public officials actually be held to account? One of the things I absolutely can't stand is when you have a woke prosecutor or a woke police chief or somebody in the mayor's office that's working against the citizens or on behalf of the criminal. But in this case, we had each and every person working in perfect harmony, in unison, putting this case forward, arresting this guy, catching him, all of that, putting him up on trial, getting him convicted on a real charge with substantial consequences. And then when everybody thinks the case is done, because this is obviously an automatic 25 years to life, the judge subverts it at the end. When nobody's looking, after judge, jury, police officers, prosecutors all come together to lock this guy up, the judge says, I don't know, I'm gonna charge him a little bit of money, and then when he seems like he can't pay that, I'm gonna lower it for him because I, as a judge, definitely needed this guy out again. He has photo after photo of himself on social media with himself holding guns. This guy has been a felony prohibited possessor since 1990. He's an ongoing criminal. This guy is a repeat offender. He should have never been out in the first place. He probably should have been held even before the kidnapping charge based on his litany of criminal offenses. But when you have the 3-strike laws, when you have these habitual offender statutes, and this guy fits the mold of exactly what you're looking to prosecute, you can't let him out on bond. You can't let him get rearrested again, realize that he's supposed to be serving 25 years in prison, and say, you know what, no big deal, we'll let you out all over again. I hope this works out well. I hope no unfortunate 32-year-old deputy ends up encountering you in a traffic stop, because obviously this guy was a ticking time bomb. Look, I'm getting too angry. I'm just going to keep ranting about this. I'm just going to keep repeating the facts to you guys over and over again so you could realize how outrageous this is if this video goes on. So let me cut it off here. If you like the video, show me by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social medias, support me via the support links in the description box of this video. This has been me talking about a deputy who was killed because a judge refused to do her damn job. Till next time.